Please do your research on which databases will show Hireback rates. But I'm just giving you this as an example. You will notice that for the year 2024, in the green circle here, Castles, the Department of Justice, OSER and Tories basically all had 100% Hireback rates, which meant that if you were an articling student, you came back as an associate, no issue. I don't just want you to look at what happened in 2024, though. You will notice that there's a small red arrow next to 2024 in this Hireback year area. You can look actually back 2, 3, 4, even 5 years. What you want to do is ensure that the Hireback rates aren't just good in this past year, but that they are consistently good. Because if there's a high variability, some years the Hireback is 60%, other years it's 80%, other years it's 100, you can't know which year you'll fall into. So low variability or high consistency with high percentages are what you are looking at. Remember that you want to look at historical rates. You also want to take into account 2 other columns. What is the actual number of students they hired? Not just the percentages, but the numbers. For example, we can see that Castles in 2024 hired 23 students, but Tories, for example, only hired 17. So there's 6 more spots at Castles than there were at Tories. So it may be a factor when you think about who to give your first choice card to, who to say you're my first choice to, should in part depend on how many spots they offer students. So if you know a firm has 100% Hireback rate, but just in theory, for example, they only hire 5 students, it may not be worth it for you to give top choice to that firm because the chances are smaller that you'll get an offer. But a firm hiring 20 to 30 students may be worthwhile to give top choice simply because there's more spots available. So you've got to play the numbers game in part. So you may want to factor that into your rankings as well. There's also a column that says number of opt-outs. Sometimes they provide a reason for why students opted out of getting hired to the firm. Sometimes certain students will decide they want to go to New York, or they want to leave private practice, or they want to leave big law and go to a mid-sized boutique, or they want to go back to school and do an LLM, or it's possible they got an articling position, not an articling position, a clerkship position. And so you want to be mindful of why. For example, you'll see with OSER, there were 2 opt-outs. What was the reason for that? So if they do provide a reason, there will be a little circle that says I for information. If you click on that, there will be a call out box that explains what the reason for the opt-outs were.